Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. This is Kyra and today we are going to be putting together a freebie that goes along with our new Shabby Botanist journal kit that we have in our store right now. And we've gone ahead and already put the actual kit together in a tutorial I will link down in the description box. But for now, let's go ahead and focus on the freebie. Now, this freebie is exclusive to today's video, so you can only get it here. So, of course, the link for it will be down in the description box. But this tutorial is just going to show you kind of how you can put it together, how we can sort of use it in the journal, and just sort of be like a little craft along video for you guys. So I've gone ahead and printed out the freebie on cardstock, nothing printed on the back, just kind of keeping things simple. You could definitely print on the back today if you wanted to, but just to keep things simple, I didn't. And I'm going to begin by cutting the pieces out. Now I'm going to start by cutting out the smaller pieces by hand and then using this trimmer for some of the larger pieces. And as always, we will have every kit and supply linked down in the description box for you guys. We do have an Amazon influencer shop where we have like all the products that we like to use linked there for you guys. So if you see something that you like this trimmer, you should be able to find it underneath that link in the description box. Besides the trimmer, I'm just cutting things out by hand. You could use like a CRICUT to get the fussy cutting done. It's kind of up to you. We do have tutorials for how to use a CRICUT. If you are interested in that, you can find that on our channel. But you know, just get things done however you like. I don't know, do you guys like fussy cutting? Some people tell me that they find it really relaxing and other people find it really tedious. So comment down below, what do you think? Fussy cutting, yes or no? And then once I do have all of my pieces cut out, I am going to go over it with Distress ink. Now this is the Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to take it with a sponge brush over all of my pieces. Again, we do have this linked in our Amazon shop. I'm using Vintage Photo because I kind of like the warmer color, although I have also been using the color Ground Espresso, which is more of like a neutral ashy brown, and those are kind of like my two main go-tos when it comes to using distress ink. But once in a while I'll dip into something like a red or a purple or something like that, but this is kind of what I tend to go to as my main. I don't know, do you guys have like a different color? I know there's one that's called like tea and linen or something like that. They were a little bit too orange for my taste, but I don't know, like, do you guys have a favorite distress ink? Or if you don't use distress ink, do you use something else? Like I've used like paint before, like dried acrylic paint. Just kind of works in a pinch if you don't have distress ink, but the distress ink is really nice, so I do recommend it. Alright, so now for the actual assembling, now that our pieces are kind of finished here. There are two ways that you could use this. The first one is to use glue and just glue the entire thing shut and turn it into a bookmark, which is what I'm going to be doing with mine today. But there is another way you could potentially use this, which is if you open it up and then add glue to just like one side of it, you can glue it down into your journal and it becomes sort of like an extra piece that sort of flips with the rest of your pages. Now I didn't print on the back of mine, but you definitely could if you wanted something else decorative. You could print maybe more lined paper or just some pretty paper or anything like that. And if you want to, you could also sew it into your signature or use brads or tie it in, but then it becomes just, you know, another extra thing that flips inside of the journal if you want it to. But like I said, I decided to keep things simple today and I'm just going to be turning it into a regular old bookmark. And it comes with these little squares that you can use for pockets, and how you arrange them is up to you. You could use just maybe 2 of them, or you could use all 3 of them. You could stack them or, you know, separate them out. It's kind of just up to personal preference where you use them and how you use them. They are directional, so you'll want to make sure that you check the print and have them facing upright before you glue them down. That way that they, you know, they fit inside of the actual bookmark here. And for placement, I want to make sure that my like little specimen cards that go in the pocket aren't sticking out of the bookmark too like much. If you like that, you can, you know, obviously do that. I want mine to be a little more like centered in the panel. So I'm going to kind of lay things out ahead of time and use them as kind of guides for the next piece here. So I'm kind of just seeing where I want to line my specimen cards and my pockets in a way that, I don't know, looks pleasing to me. So I'm kind of just measuring things out here. And once I get things, you know, kind of where I want them to be, I'm going to take a pencil and mark the bottom corners of my pocket here, just at the very bottom. And that's going to give me a guide for where to glue this again later. And I'm going to do the same thing to the pocket on the top. Again, try to keep things straight and aligned here, since these are the guides for where we're going to glue it down. And then I'm going to start with the top one, since I'm layering from back to front. So I'm going to take some glue, and I'm using Fabri-Tac glue. This is non-water based, so it doesn't wrinkle paper. I have less of that problem with cardstock, which is what all of this is printed on, but if I'm using regular paper, I find that most glues tend to wrinkle it. So Fabri-Tac is a little pricey, but it is worth the money in my opinion. It holds really well and dries really fast, so if you've got a little extra to spend, would recommend. Again, that'll be down in our Amazon shop for anyone interested. And then I'm just adding glue to the sides and the bottom here, trying to keep it close to the edge of my little pocket and matching it up to the corners we marked earlier. I'm going to glue it down like this. Give it a moment to dry and then start with the next one. And again, you can tell they're directional because they're a little bit longer on one side, and we want that to kind of be the top and bottom here. And before I glue down the center one, I just want to line up everything again, kind of matching up the corners, make sure that I don't have it, you know, a little too high or a little too low. I'm trying to keep things pretty even and symmetrical. You don't have to do that. Maybe you like things to look a little, you know, cattywampus or whatever, to give it more of a, like a junky organic feel, but I just want to keep mine kind of symmetrical today. So I'm gonna go ahead and double check that everything is lined up and then glue them down. Same as before, marking off my corners, gluing along the edge, making sure to keep the glue bead pretty thin and as close to the edge as possible, because that makes sure that we have plenty of room for our little specimen card. If you know, get too much glue too close to the center, you might have to trim your specimen card down to fit, so just keep that in mind. And I'm just gonna go ahead and keep on working here. I know it's getting kind of late in the year maybe for a botanist kit, but sometimes that's nice, you know, when winter starts to move in. Sometimes I like a reminder of spring and summer. It's kind of nice to feel sort of comforted. Like in winter I tend to put like a bunch of fake fake plants out around my house just to make it feel a little bit more like, you know, a little less dreary. I have to use fake plants because I can't keep a real plant alive to save my life. I'm trying to grow some lavender right now, and I'm pretty sure it's dead. If anybody has any tips on how to keep lavender alive, let me know. I killed an air plant once, so, you know, maybe it's not possible. I don't know. Not gifted when it comes to botany, but I do have some skills when it comes to crafting, so we're going to keep going with that here. I am going to decorate the pocket with just a little bit of lace and some of these fussy cut butterflies that come with the freebie. Now you could go extra crazy and add lots of decoration to these pockets. You could use buttons, you could use ribbon trim, you could maybe cut like a half circle out of each of them to give them just a little bit more of an interesting layered look. You could put the butterflies anywhere you want on this thing. I'm actually going to be layering mine up to create kind of like a layered 3D butterfly. And speaking of, we actually just came out with a layering butterfly fussy cut kit. And each of the sheets comes with a larger butterfly and then a matching smaller butterfly that's made for layering. So, you know, if you're interested in that, we will have a link down in the description box for you. But for this project, I'm going to be using the butterflies that come with it. So if you've never done this before, all you do is you fold the butterflies in half to give them a little bit of dimensional pop, and then adding a good glop of glue to the smaller butterfly just on the crease on the back of it here. I'm just going to glue it into the center of the larger butterfly. And I didn't print on the back of these, so they're just white. I did go over it with some distress ink, but you could print on the back if you want to. And then I'm just going to make sure that we give that little butterfly time to dry here, kind of make sure that the wings stay folded up. And then once that dries, I'm going to again add a good amount of glue to the crease of the larger butterfly on the back. And I'm going to glue it down to the center of my pocket. And you might have to hold this in place for a little bit, keep those wings propped up so that it doesn't accidentally fall to one side, or, you know, the wings don't accidentally glue flat. We want to keep that dimension. So just kind of hold that until it dries. And once it is dried, I'm going to go ahead and push on to my little specimen cards here and just add them to my pockets. Now, if you're finding that they're kind of having trouble sliding into the pocket, you can use a bone folder or a ruler or even a butter knife to like open up your pockets a little bit. And that's going to make it so that the specimen cards slide in and out easier and can help make sure that they have plenty of room to fit. Otherwise, you might find that your cards are just like a little bit sticky because of how tight the pockets are. So just something to keep in mind. And with the specimen cards, you could, like, you know, tilt them or make them kind of, you know, shabby looking, add some cheesecloth to the back of them or something like that. I'm going to keep mine again just sort of organized, simple, keep them sort of straight in the center of my pockets here and not do any extra decorating. Just, you know, keep things easy today. And then it also comes with, the freebie comes with this little faux wax stamps. Now, if you want to, you could print this freebie out twice, and that would give you twice the amount of ephemera to mess with and decorate with if you want. Or you could use this little wax stamp as kind of like a seal to like hold ephemera down. Like if you add glue to the bottom half, you can tuck things into the top of it. You could use it to hold down a strip of ribbon or anything you want to do. Again, I'm just going to keep things nice and simple and add another piece of that ribbon we used on the pocket. And if you want to, you could layer this with more ribbons or scrap pieces of paper, or however you want to decorate. I'm just going to keep mine with the plain ribbon and just glue the wax seal down to the center of it. Now you could use like some puff tape to give it a little bit of dimension and pop if you're kind of keeping with that theme that you have with your butterflies. You could wrap like string around it and then hang some beads from it or something like that. It's really how creative you want to get. Just remember that this is going to go in a journal, so whatever you do, you need to make sure that it doesn't get too thick as to not, you know, you need to be able to close your journal if you're using it like a bookmark or an ephemera piece or something like that. All right, and when closing it, I didn't really think about this, but you could just add glue to the top and bottom, and that would actually give you a tuck space inside of the bookmark. So, you know, I didn't think of it until just now, but that is something you could do and could be kind of fun. Or you could just do what I did here and glue the whole thing shut. So kind of up to you, but it's an extra thing you could try. And you could use the tab that comes with this as a tab for that piece of ephemera so that you could pull it out easier from the side. Or you can use the tab just on the top of the bookmark itself, which is what I'm going to do today. Now again, this is just the freebie that you can get from this video. If you want the full kit that matches the freebie, we will have a link to our Etsy shop where you can purchase the little digital kit, print it out, and put it together. This does also match one of our other kits, which was the Regency Romance kit. I think that one goes really well with this as well. So we have a couple different kits that you might like if you like this little freebie project and want to craft along with us. I did a full journal using that Regency Romance kit, like a whole series. So, you know, we've got lots of different tutorials. If you're looking for some new inspiration or ideas or somewhere to put this bookmark, you can definitely follow one of those. The Shabby Botanist kit that this is specifically meant to go with was actually released just very recently, and Stephanie, my mother, who also does videos on our channel, did like a full tutorial from start to finish with the Shabby Botanist kit. It's done in one day, it has no sewing, and is really simple and beautiful, so definitely make sure to check that video out. Again, I will have it linked down in the description box for you if you are interested in trying to make that. Otherwise, we're pretty much done with the freebie itself. Again, if you want to take it an extra step, the Shabby Botanist journal comes with lots of ephemera pieces, including these little tags, like these little tag charms here. And again, these are printed out on cardstock. I didn't print on the back of them, they're just white, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn them into like a little dangle here using these bulb pins that we got online. Again, going over everything with Distress ink just so that it matches. And I've got this micro hole punch that I'm going to use to punch out my holes. If you don't have this, you can use a needle or an awl. Something sharp will do. Just something you can poke a small hole in the top of these little tags. So that's what I'm going to do here really fast. And again, we have this item linked in our Amazon shop if you're interested. And I'm adding a couple of these little rings here. These are Tim Holtz ring fasteners, I believe, that we also got from Amazon, so those will be in our shop. And I'm just going to hook these through the bulb pin, and the metal's really thin, so it's easy to just manipulate with your hand, although you could use some pliers if you're having trouble. And I'm just going to loop them over the bulb pin, and then loop the bulb pin through a small hole that I made in the top right corner of my bookmark. Just going to go ahead and poke it through, close it shut. And then when I kind of turn it around here, I'm going to put the head of the bulb pin at the top. Just kind of manipulate them, and there you go. Now you've got a cute little dangling charm here on your bookmark. And again, something to remember with dangles and charms is just kind of how they'll lay in your journal. So if you're making a bookmark like I am, you might need to put the bookmark kind of towards the edge of your journal so that the dangles can kind of hang off of it like this. Just something to keep in mind. You don't have to be that specific, but if it's, you know, if you're adding beads or anything like that, that might be too thick to go inside of your journal. So just keep that in mind whenever you're crafting. Also, you may want to print on the back of pieces if they're kind of like, you know, dimensional pieces like this one is. Alright, but otherwise, that is going to finish today's tutorial. Thanks so much for crafting along with me. I hope that you guys had fun and got some inspiration. Enjoy your new freebie, and keep an eye on our channel because we're going to be releasing even more freebies like this in the future. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!